Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives in Argentina on the third leg of his five-nation visit of the Global South. It is the first such visit from India to the South American country in 57 years. Prime Minister Narendra Modi wraps up his visit to Trinidad and Tobago, honoured with the country's top award. India exchanges 6 MOUs, including one on making affordable medicines available in the Caribbean island. Trump signs his flagship One Big Beautiful bill into law, brings tax relief and Medicaid cuts, says it is the biggest bill of its type in history. A new ray of hope emerges as Hamas submits positive response to a US-brokered Gaza ceasefire proposal in a major step towards a deal to halt the conflict after months of failed efforts. And in cricket, India on top at the Edgbaston Test as they lead by 244 runs against England at the end of third day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached Argentina on the third leg of his five-nation tour of the Global South. During the two-day visit to Buenos Aires, he will hold talks with President Javier Milei. The two leaders can be expected to review the ongoing cooperation and discuss ways to further enhance India-Argentina partnership in key areas including defense, agriculture, critical minerals, mining, oil and gas, renewable energy, trade and investment, and people-to-people ties. The visit aims to further deepen the multifaceted strategic partnership between India and Argentina. It is the first bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Argentina in 57 years. Argentina is a key economic partner in Latin America and a close collaborator in the G20. The bilateral visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi will further deepen the multifaceted strategic partnership between India and Argentina. DD India's correspondent Arun Sharma spoke with Ambassador of India to Argentina, Ajnish Kumar, regarding Prime Minister Modi's visit to Argentina, highlighting the cooperation between the two countries.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a two-day visit to Argentina, but why is this visit significant? To get a perspective on this visit, I am joined by Indian Ambassador Designate to Argentina, Mr. Ajnish Kumar. Sir, thank you so much for talking to Doordarshan.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Argentina. So why is this visit significant? From economic aspect, from a bilateral aspect, what is your point of view on that, sir?
So this visit of Honorable Prime Minister to Argentina, though he was very much here in 2018 for the G20, but this visit becomes all the more important because it is happening after a long spell. This visit is happening at a very momentous occasion. Honorable Prime Minister is coming here. He had met only last year in November His Excellency the President of Argentine Republic, Mr. Javier Milei, and this visit is only going to consolidate the dialogue and the conversation between the two leaders.
When we talk about rare earth mineral, Argentina is part of that lithium triangle. India is aiming to enhance its capacities as far as green infrastructure is concerned. So how is this relationship complementary in nature?
India is already present in Argentina in the sectors that you identified. We have our institution called CABIL, which is here, and they have also started prospecting, and we will have some great results coming out from there. But it is not only CABIL, it is also the Indian private sector. There is a company called Greenco, which is here. I'm told that there are another one or two more companies which are looking at. But the happy part is that during the visit of the YPF chief to India this January, the three major Indian oil companies, that is ONGC Videsh, Oil India and GAIL, they too have signed something which will not only be looking at the gas proportion, but also critical minerals. So there is an immense possibility and a lot of scope, and I'm sure that in the coming years we will have many more good news coming out.
So what are the expectations of the Argentinian side when it comes to this visit?
As far as India is concerned, we are looking at further strengthening our economic engagement in the country. With economic engagements, there are always prospects for investments, and also entering into the areas what we call non-traditional areas. I think there is immense possibility for the two nations to find complementarities and work towards further strengthening the economic bonds.
How is this visit going to give a push to the people-to-people ties? Because be it yoga or be it Ayurveda or be it people-to-people connect in the cultural aspect.
I have no hesitation in saying that India and Indian soft power, whether it is by way of yoga, by way of Indian spiritualism, by way of the popularity of Ayurveda, or even to some extent Indian movies and films, is part and parcel of the local milieu.
Ambassador clearly saying this, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Argentina will give a boost to the relationship between both the countries, be it bilaterally or, as far as the other aspect of the relationship are concerned, that is people-to-people connect as well. With camera person Vinay, Arun Sharma, Doordarshan News, Argentina.
In an exclusive conversation with DD India, Argentina's ambassador to India, Mariano Cochino, highlighted the growing importance of India on the global stage and the immense potential for stronger India-Argentina ties. With the strategic partnership elevated in 2019, the ambassador underscored Argentina's role in India's clean energy transition, leveraging its vast lithium and shale reserves, and India's expertise in defense, IT, and space as key areas for collaboration.
First of all, sir, how do you see this visit of Indian Prime Minister Modi to Argentina? How will it shape the bilaterals between both the countries?
Well, first of all, of course, we appreciate very much the visit of Prime Minister Modi to Argentina. Very, very important, and we are very happy. And especially when India is becoming a so important country in the world and the country that is growing more among the great powers. So we appreciate this very, very much.
So India is also engaging a lot with Latin American countries. So how do you see these engagements primarily, and what can we expect as far as this visit is concerned of Indian Prime Minister Modi?
Well, India and Latin American economies, and especially in the case of Argentina, are very complementary. So that's why we have although we are very far and we belong to different countries, although that the situation is that the growing relationship between our country and India is developing. To the moment, Argentina and India trade relationship, it's of around $5 billion. It could be more, but it is very, very important, and this has developed especially since the year 2019, when we established the strategic relationship between India and Argentina. And we hope this opportunity of the so important visit of the Honorable Prime Minister, it's an opportunity to enhance that.
So how do you see the current Indian leadership and the Argentinian leadership, in shaping the current bilateral relationship? So their personal chemistry, their rapport, so how do you see that aspect?
Well, as a matter of fact, you know that there is a coincidence in some way, because India is a country that has been growing economically so much, especially since you adopted the reforms opening the economy and adopting the rules of the market economy and open economies, and especially in this decade under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. We believe in a free economy, the two countries, and we are sure that that will provide a great success to our country.
We talk about the multilateral platforms. There are issues like terrorism. So, Argentina looks at the aspect of terrorism, because recently India has given befitting reply to terror outfits and the country that sponsor terrorism. So what is Argentina's views in that context?
Well, when this last attack happened in April 22 in Kashmir, I think we were among the first embassies here to support India, because we know perfectly well what terrorism means. Terrorism is something that affects all the countries in the world, and when one person dies because of the terrorist attack or a terrorist action, that's against that country, but it's also against the human mankind. So we are supporting India in the strongest way possible.
Thank you so much, Ambassador, sir, for
talking
to us. So clearly the Argentinian ambassador to India clearly mentioning that with the Indian PM Modi's visit to Argentina, the bilateral between both the countries are all set to take or to reach new heights. With camera person Mohit, Arun Sharma, Doordarshan News.
In an exclusive conversation with DD India, Gustavo Idigoras, Executive Director of the India-Argentina Business Council, revealed that India and Argentina aim to boost bilateral trade from $5 billion to $8 billion with a target of $14 billion by 2040. He also emphasized Argentina's keen interest in signing a free trade agreement with India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Argentina is going to be significant from the economic point of view as well, from the trade ties perspective as well. To give an analytical aspect of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Argentina, I am joined by the Executive Director of the India-Argentina Business Council to talk on this. Sir, thank you so much for talking to us. First of all, sir, how is the India-Argentina Business Council looking at the Indian Prime Minister Modi's visit to Argentina from the economic aspect, sir?
Well, from the economic aspect and commercial point of view, it's the most important visit. Really, from the India-Argentina Business Council, we are trying to boost investment from Indian companies in Argentina, and also to boost trade, bilateral trade, goods coming and technology coming from India, and also try to expand our commerce, particularly in agricultural product, to India. We consider India as one of the strategic partners of Argentina, and we are looking for a long relationship with Mercosur countries and India in coming years.
What are the trade targets that we can expect now? Because right now, India and Argentina, they both have trade targets of approximately $5 billion. So what is the IABC's analysis? Where will the trade targets go going forward? Because both the countries are riding high as far as reforms are concerned.
Yes, exactly. We are supporting all the new reform introduced by the Argentine government. This new administration is trying to open the economy. It's trying to reduce the level of regulation from the state in order to allow private sector to increase investment and employment. So we are supporting that as a business council with a view also to increase our economic and bilateral exchange, particularly from this 5 billion till around more than 8 billion in the next 5 years. It also could be very feasible to achieve. The final view for 2040 is to arrive at 14 billion US dollar on the annual economic exchange.
How do you look at the leadership of both the nations, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the President of Argentina? So how is their chemistry? How is the business community looking at their, a personal rapport so that the boost can be given to the economic relations as well?
Well, let me tell you, Mr. President Milei in Argentina have already pointed out several times that he considers Prime Minister Modi as a universal leader, one of the most important leaders, and he is looking also to enhance relationship with India. So from the Argentine government, probably you will see and you will realize a total support and collaboration with that. The second point is that Argentina is trying to convince all the others Mercosur countries to sign a free trade agreement with India. That could be our most important goal in coming years.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us. So clearly, the Executive Director of IABC clearly mentioning this point that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Argentina will give a new momentum to the trade ties between India and Argentina, and the trade could be, given a major push going forward. With camera person Vinay, Arun Sharma, Doordarshan News, Argentina.
On his second leg of five-nation visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Joint Assembly of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. He is the first Prime Minister from India to address the Parliament, and the occasion marked a milestone in bilateral relations of the two countries. In his address, Prime Minister Modi touched upon various aspects of the age-old ties and multifaceted partnership between the two countries. He thanked the people and government of Trinidad and Tobago for bestowing upon him the special honor. Prime Minister Modi added that in India, democracy is not just a political system, rather it is a way of life.
Both our nations rose from the shadows of colonial rule to write our own stories with courage as our ink and democracy as our pen. Today, both our nations stand as proud democracies and pillars of strength in the modern world.
India and Trinidad and Tobago have signed 6 agreements during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the Caribbean nation to strengthen bilateral cooperation in key areas including infrastructure, pharmaceuticals, development projects, sports, education, cultural exchange programs and diplomatic training. The MOUs include an agreement on the Indian Pharmacopoeia, which aims to provide improved access to Indian pharmaceutical products in Trinidad and Tobago markets. To strengthen the development cooperation partnership between the two countries, an agreement was signed for an Indian grant to implement quick impact projects. Agreements were also signed to strengthen cooperation in sports, diplomatic training and the re-establishment of the 2 ICCR chairs of Hindi and Indian studies at the University of West Indies, Trinidad and Tobago. An MOU on the program of cultural exchanges for the period 2025 to 2028 was also signed. In a special ceremony at the President's house in Port of Spain on Friday, President of Trinidad and Tobago, Christine Carla Cangelou, conferred upon Prime Minister Narendra Modi the highest national award of Trinidad and Tobago, the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, for his statesmanship, for championing the priorities of the Global South, and for his exceptional contribution to strengthening the relationship between India and Trinidad and Tobago. Prime Minister is the first foreign leader to be conferred with the award. With this, Prime Minister Modi now has been bestowed with 25 such global recognitions. Accepting the award on behalf of 1.4 billion people of India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated the honour to enduring bonds of friendship between the two countries.
सम्मान का पहली बार किसी फॉरेन लीडर को दिए जाना हमारे विशेष संबंधों की गहराई को दर्शाता है। यह संबंध हमारे साझा इतिहास और सांस्कृतिक धरोहर पर आधारित है। 180 साल पहले भारत से जो लोग यहां आए थे, उन्होंने हमारी मित्रता की नींव रखी थी। भले ही उनके हाथ खाली थे, किंतु उनके मन भारतीय सभ्यता, संस्कृति और विविधता से समृद्ध थे। उन्होंने आपसी सौहार्द और सद्भाव के जो बीज बोए थे, वे आज त्रिनिदाद और टोबैगो के प्रति, उनकी प्रगति के प्रति और समृद्धि के रूप में साकार हो रहे हैं।
All right, you're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break. Stay with us. back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. US President Donald Trump signed his flagship tax and spending bill into law in a ceremony at the White House on Saturday. Trump signed the multi-trillion-dollar legislation and then banged down the gavel that was used during the final passage of the bill on Thursday. The bill's passage marks a major political victory for Trump and his Republican allies, who argue the package will spur economic growth. It includes provisions to make the 2017 tax cuts permanent, implement broad spending cuts, and fund an aggressive immigration enforcement strategy. Donald Trump said that it is the biggest bill of its type in history.
Put everything into one bill. It's never happened before. It's the biggest bill of its type in history. We've never had anything like that before. Nothing like that they thought would be possible to get passed. And actually, I liked it because we had so much in there that no matter who you are, there was something in that bill that would make your congressman or your senator or your congresswoman, much more importantly, raise their hand and support.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky held a conversation with US President Donald Trump on Friday. President Zelensky said that he discussed air defense with President Trump and agreed to work on increasing Kyiv's capability to defend the sky as Russian attacks escalate. Zelensky added in a message on Telegram that he discussed joint defense production as well as joint purchases and investments with the US leader. Ukraine has been asking Washington to sell it more of Patriot missiles and systems that it sees as a key to defending its cities from intensifying Russian airstrikes. Hamas on Friday said that it was ready to start talks immediately on a proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza. The announcement came after it held consultations with other Palestinian factions and before a visit on Monday by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Washington, where President Trump is pushing for an end to the conflict now in its 21st month. Hamas ally Islamic Jihad said that it supported ceasefire talks but demanded guarantees that Israel will not resume its aggression once hostages held in Gaza are freed. Two previous ceasefires brokered by Qatar, Egypt and the United States have seen temporary halts in fighting, coupled with the return of Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Fighter planes and helicopters roared over the Sesme district of Turkey's western Izmir province as massive wildfires swept through the region, engulfing residential areas and forcing tens of thousands to flee their homes. More than 42,000 people have been evacuated from Izmir province since the fires intensified on Monday night. The situation remains critical in Sesme, a popular coastal tourist destination where emergency crews are working round the clock to protect homes and infrastructure. A rare blanket of heavy snow fell on parts of northeastern Turkey on Friday as other parts of the country battled a growing number of wildfires. Experts say human-driven climate change is causing more frequent and intense extreme weather events, from droughts to heat waves and hailstorms. A fast-moving wildfire broke out on Friday near the Greece capital Athens, prompting urgent evacuations and placing the country on high alert as soaring temperatures and strong winds threatened to ignite more blazes. The fire erupted around 30 kilometers east of Athens and rapidly spread through residential areas surrounded by dense vegetation stretching to the Aegean coast. Residents received emergency texts, alerts ordering them to flee, and more than 800 people were evacuated from their homes, according to the fire service spokesman Vasilis. In total, 120 firefighters were deployed to the scene with 30 fire engines, 8 planes and 8 helicopters. A Coast Guard vessel was also patrolling nearby waters as a precaution. On to sports. India finished day 3 of the second test on 64 runs for the loss of 1 wicket to lead England by 244 runs at Edgbaston on Friday. The visitors dismissed the hosts for 407 in the first innings, despite Jamie Smith's commanding an unbeaten knock of 184 runs. England had slumped to 84 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. Smith and Harry Brook transformed the innings in a masterclass of counter-attacking cricket as both smashed centuries in a crucial 6th wicket partnership with a precious 303 runs. But the new ball proved England's undoing as they lost their last 5 wickets for 20 runs. Mohammad Siraj took 6 wickets and fellow paceman Akashdeep got 4 scalps. In tennis, world number 2 Carlos Alcaraz battled past Jean-Lennart Struff to reach the Wimbledon last 16 on Friday. Alcaraz overcame Struff for 6-1, 3-6, 6-3 and 6-4 to stay on track for a third straight Wimbledon crown. Alcaraz made 28 unforced errors in an inconsistent display, but he conjured many moments of magic to eventually subdue his opponent and took his place in the fourth round, where he will meet Russia's Andrei Rublev. In other matches, 5th seed Taylor Fritz beat Spain's Alejandro Fokina for 6-4, 6-3, 6-7 and 6-1, while 10th seed Ben Shelton sealed a 6-2, 7-5, 6-4 win against Australia's Rinki Hiyakata. Meanwhile, women's top seed Aryna Sabalenka fought for an inspired home favourite Emma Raducanu to keep her Wimbledon guest on track. Sabalenka saved a set point in the first set and stayed strong in the second to beat her opponent 7-6, 6-4. However, Australian Open champion Madison Keys and 4 times major winner Naomi Osaka were knocked out. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.